Hello, my name is Fernando Raul and welcome to another video for Fernando Raul Astrology. And today we're going to be discussing the fabulous world of Pokemon and astrology. And I know there are a couple of videos out there in YouTube that try to pair up astrology and Pokemon, but what we're going to do in this specific video is that we're going to apply real astrological principles to the world of Pokemon. And since I am a practicing astrologer and I am also an avid Pokemon Go player, I'm really going to enjoy this. So let's start. As of today, there are 720 official Pokemon, 802 Pokemon if you take into consideration Mega Evolutions and the Alola forms. And as of today, there are 18 particular types of Pokemon. And what we're going to do in this video is that we are going to pair these groups to certain signs and or planets of astrology. So let's begin. First off, let's start with two types of Pokemon that I paired together, specifically fire and normal type Pokemons. And fire and normal type Pokemons, I paired them to the element of fire, or Agni Bhuta in Sanskrit, which means the element of fire. Agni being fire and Bhuta being an elemental or element. So obviously fire Pokemon allude to fire, that's a no-brainer. But normal type Pokemon, why did I pair them? I'm going to be honest with you, it was kind of tricky to pair normal type Pokemon because they're very polyvalent. But in a sense, in the Vedic astrology of India, the fire element is associated with the Purushartha of Dharma. That's Sanskrit, by the way, that's not Chinese. A Purushartha is one of the 4 different goals of man on earth. And one of them is Dharma. And Dharma, I know a lot of people have heard this word. Dharma means a higher calling. It's what inspires us to fight in life, to live in life, to do what we do. And that is associated with fire. And in a sense, Dharma is part of everyday life. And normal type Pokemon are very normal, so they have to have Dharma. And in a sense, Dharma is also, and fire, is also associated with the first house of an astrological chart in astrology. And the first house is associated with the body. And since the body is the most common thing we all have in this earth, hence it is associated with the body of normal type Pokemon, because that's more or less what distinguishes them. Their body is not necessarily a fire body, it's not necessarily an earth body, it's not necessarily an electric or ghost or dark or any other type. It's just, their body, it's like normal type. So this is why I am pairing them with fire, normal type. Now, which are the fire signs in astrology? They are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And how can we compare these 3 signs to the fire normal type Pokemon? Well, I chose 2 types of forms. First of all, in the zodiac, Aries is the number 1 sign, Leo is the number 5 sign, and Sagittarius is the number 9. So we can see here an exponential growth. So let's say if we take a fire or normal type Pokemon that goes through different evolutions, the first evolution would be Aries, the second evolution would be, the normal stage would be Aries, the second evolution would be Leo, and the third evolution would be Sagittarius. For example, Charmander would be Aries, Charmeleon would be Leo, and Charizard would be Sagittarius, since it's exponentially going up. And I chose these because I am 33 years old, so I am very familiar with the first generation Pokemon. So another way we can pair up these 2 types of Pokemon is by speed, okay? So Aries is a movable sign, so it's always moving. Leo is a fixed sign, it's still. And Sagittarius is a common or dual sign, so it's a mixture. So fast moving normal and fire type Pokemon would be Aries. Slow moving fire and normal type Pokemon, like big Pokemon, I'm thinking about Snorlax maybe, would be Leo. And common speed fire normal type Pokemon would be Sagittarius. So that's called quadruplicities, or the different modes of the signs in the zodiac. That's related to the movement of the sun in relation to the seasons, specifically in the northern hemisphere, but we're not going to get into that. This is how we can pair up these two types of Pokemon, and you're going to see me repeating this sequence in subsequent categories. So, once again, normal and fire type Pokemon are associated with fire signs, which would be Aries, which would be Leo and Sagittarius. So we're moving on. Now the second group, I paired up 4 types of Pokemon. I paired up grass, rock, ground, and steel Pokemon into the category of earth, which would be Prithvi Bhuta. In Sanskrit, that means the earth element. So these 4 types of Pokemon will be related to the element of earth, which will be related to the earth signs in astrology, which are obviously Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Now, how can we compare these? Obviously, grass grows in the ground, earth, rock is in the ground, earth, ground is ground, and steel is a type of rock, specifically the treated iron we get from rocks, okay? So, how can we compare these? So, a normal type earth Pokemon, let's say Bulbasaur, would be Taurus, since it's the second sign. The second stage, which would be Ivysaur, would be Virgo, which is the 6th sign. And the most evolutionized, which would be Venusaur, which would be Capricorn, okay? So first stage Taurus, second stage Virgo, and third stage Capricorn. Now, fast-moving grass, rock, ground, or steel Pokemon would be Capricorn, since it's a movable earth sign. Now, slow-moving grass, rock, ground, and steel Pokemon would be Taurus, and even speed grass, rock, ground, and steel Pokemon would be Virgo, since it is a common sign. Okay? So, let's go on and move on to the next category. And for the next category, I paired both flying and electric type Pokemon into one type, which would be the air element, okay? And why do I pair these? Obviously, flying Pokemon are in the air, and electric Pokemon, thunder, comes from the clouds that are on the air, okay? So, once again, these 2 types of Pokemon, I associate them with the air element, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and of course Aquarius. So the first type of evolution would be, or normal type flying or electric type Pokemon would be Gemini, since it's the 3rd sign. The second evolution type, electric and flying Pokemon, would be Libra, and the 3rd type of evolution would be Aquarius. So let's take, for example, Pidgey would be Gemini, Pidgeotto would be Libra, and obviously Pidgeot would be Aquarius. Now, let's do this with the speed. Fast-moving electric and flying Pokemon would be Libra, since it's a movable air sign. Slow-moving air and electric type would be Aquarius, and even speed would be Gemini, since Gemini is a dual sign and Aquarius a fixed sign of air, of course. Now we move on to the next category, and in the next category I paired up 2 types of Pokemon, which are water and ice, and obviously water and ice is water, so I associate them with the element of water, and the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So once again, we see this same scheme I chose for the other signs. So let's say basic type Pokemon would be Cancer, which is the number 4 sign. The second evolution would be Scorpio, which is the 8th sign. And final evolution form would be Pisces, which is the 12th sign. So for example, Squirtle would be Cancer, War Turtle would be Scorpio, and Blastoise would be Pisces. Now, fast-moving water Pokemon would be Cancer, since Cancer is a movable water sign. And slow-moving water Pokemon or ice Pokemon would be Scorpio, since Scorpio is a fixed water sign. And even speed Pokemon would be Pisces, since it's a dual or Dvisbaba sign in Sanskrit, which means the combination of movable and fixed. Now, let's move on. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 types of Pokemon already assigned an astrological signification. We still have 8. Oh my god, what are we going to do? We ran out of signs. No problem. From now on, we're going to associate the following categories into either planets or the signs ruled by the planet alluded to the following signs. So now we're going to move on to something called the nodes in astrology, which are Rahu and Ketu, or the north node of the moon and the south node of the moon, and also they're known as the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon. These astrological signs or planets, or they're called in Sanskrit, they're called Chayagrahas, which means dark planets or invisible planets or foggy planets, and these are very important. These are invisible planets. These are basically mathematical astronomical points, and they're very important to know our karmic past and our dharmic calling, that is, our past and our future. And these are very mysterious. They're sometimes described as negative in astrology, but in a sense we all have them. And what we're going to do is that we're going to take these two and we're going to pair them with 6 types of Pokemon, and you're going to see why. So the first one is Rahu, which is the north node of the moon, or the head of the dragon. And to Rahu, I paired 3 specific types of Pokemon, which are venomous, dark, and dragon Pokemon. And why? Venomous, because in astrology, Rahu is associated with venoms, with poisons, specifically any type of poison or even drugs. So alcohol, illegal substances, that type of things are alluded to Rahu. Dark, because Rahu and Ketu, specifically Rahu, are malevolent. Why? In astrology, they are malevolent because they cause eclipses, solar and lunar eclipses, and the luminaries, the sun and the moon, which are the basic components, astronomically speaking, of eclipses, are basically the female version of God and the male version of God, and they are hidden away temporarily from time to time by the nodes, by the north node and the south node. And when the Rahu eclipses the sun, he becomes dark, just like dark type Pokemon. Okay? And the last one is dragon type Pokemon. And why? Because in Vedic mythology, basically it was the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon. Why? Because Rahu and Ketu initially were called Svarvanu, which was an asura, a type of demon type, or let's say an independent deity that thought by itself. But it was evil in a sense, and it was his head, or Svarvanu's head, was cut off from its body, and it was a type of dragon. And in Western astrology, Rahu, as I mentioned before, was known as the head of the dragon. So you see why I alluded these 3 types of Pokemon to Rahu: venomous, dark, and dragon, because they all kind of resemble that Rahu essence. Okay, so moving on. Now Ketu, the south node of the moon, or the tail of the dragon, and I paired Ketu to 3 types of specific Pokemon: ghost, psychic, and fairy. If Rahu, the north node of the moon, is venomous, it's dark, it's evil, it's false, Ketu is more of a weird type. It's like alien type, ghost type, extraterrestrials. It's uptight about a lot of things. Ghost, obviously, Ketu represents everything that is weird. For example, Ketu is just a body without a head. That type of resembles a type of ghost that is very common in a lot of cultures. Psychic, because Ketu, when associated with the moon or associated with 12th house or the 8th house and has strong water energy, can represent psychic abilities in a chart. So Ketu is associated with psychic Pokemon. And finally, fairies. Fairy, I associated to Ketu because fairies are kind of weird and uptight. If you think about Jigglypuff's character, when I used to watch it a long time ago, he would get mad when he sang and people fell asleep, and then he would make faces. That was really fucked up in my opinion. But the thing is that he was kind of uptight, right? And that's why I associate fairies with Ketu. Also, fairies are kind of weird and kind of different in the traditional sense, of course. So we paired these 3 types: ghost, psychic, and fairy, to Ketu. Now we still have two types of Pokemon that we haven't spoken of, which are fighting Pokemon and bug type Pokemon. So first, let's go to fighting type Pokemon. What is the astrological significator for fight, for will, for in many ways how we express what we want to do in this life? That is Mars. So what I did is that I paired fighting Pokemon to Mars. And Mars, all planets in astrology rule signs. All of them rule two except the luminaries, the sun and the moon, which only rule one. If you take modern astrological regions, then it changes, but I'm taking traditional since I practice a more traditional form of astrology. So Mars rules over Aries and Scorpio. So fighting Pokemon would be Mars or Aries or Scorpio. Now we move on to bug type Pokemon. And this was kind of difficult to pair, but not that hard if you know astrology very well. So bug type Pokemon are going to associate with the signs of the zodiac that are associated with bugs. And in Vedic thought, all of the planets have legs. Some of them have 2 legs, some of them have 4 legs, some of them don't have legs, and some of them have many legs, which would also be like bugs. So the signs that are associated with bugs in the zodiac are Cancer and Scorpio. So bug type Pokemons would be Cancer and Scorpio. And there we go. We paired all 18 types of Pokemon. So let's do a small recap. Fire element, fire sign, that would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, which can also mean Mars, the Sun, and Jupiter, are associated to fire and normal type Pokemon. Earth sign in the zodiac, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, also Venus, Mercury, and Saturn, which are the regents of these signs, will be paired with Grass, Rock, Ground, and Steel Pokemon. Air type signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, or Mercury, Venus, and Saturn, are going to be paired with flying and electric type Pokemon. The water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, or we can also pair the Moon, Mars, and Jupiter, are going to be paired with water and ice Pokemon. Now, Rahu, the north node of the moon, the head of the dragon, are going to be paired with venomous, dark, and dragon Pokemon. Ketu, the south node of the moon, the body of the dragon, the tail of the dragon, better said, it's going to be paired with ghost, psychic, and fairy Pokemon. Now, Scorpio and Scorpio and Aries are going to be paired with fighting Pokemon, since these are the signs of Mars, which rules fights. And bug type Pokemon are going to be associated with Cancer and Scorpio, which are the bug signs of the zodiac. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learn a little bit more of astrology, and you learn a little bit about Pokemon for those who are astrological enthusiasts who have never really delved into the world of Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos about astrology, just look up my channel. Most of them are in Spanish, but I'm making more videos in English. I upload videos every Thursdays and every Mondays. And just one more note, if you play Pokemon Go, I'm going to put down my Pokemon Go code, so you can add me as a friend and send me gifts. And I will also send you gifts if I have them. Of course, I have a lot of friends, and you can also gain medals through sending gifts, and you can also do some challenges to gain more things in Pokemon Go. But once again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope you enjoyed a bit more about astrology and Pokemon. And here, as always, Fernando Raul, always at your service. Have a nice day and take care. And keep on collecting Pokemon, because you gotta catch them all. Take care.